Good day, folks. Welcome to Answers Life. I hope everybody's doing great today. I just wanted to step out and get a little bit of fresh air. I mean, it's been raining all day, and I was going to do this video indoors, but I really want to get a little bit of fresh air, even though the weather is crappy. So I'm just sitting here on the porch of my extra building. So, I'm pretty sure many of you, I'm pretty sure many of you have seen a huge uptick of what I would like to call bigot YouTubers on the YouTube platform. Now, for those of you that are familiar with YouTube, for those of you that might be content creators, it seemed like there was a time to where YouTube discouraged any type of bigotry or racism to be encouraged on the YouTube platform. And I don't know what YouTube is thinking. I don't know what, I guess, trying to think what that lady's name is, the lady in Minnesota. I guess Silo Hendricks, that white woman in Minnesota that called the 5-year-old black kid the N-word. I guess, she apparently made it more acceptable, at least online, to basically be a full-blown bigot on social media, at least. So, ever since that video came out, there's been this huge uptick of what I would like to call bigot YouTubers. Now, for those of you that don't know who for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, if you go to this YouTuber, his channel name is Shameless Sperg, and I'll spell it out in the comment section so y'all know what I'm talking about. Or two, you can go on YouTube and just press that little microphone and say Shameless Sperg, and his channel will come up. I've watched several of his videos, and he's been getting basically 1,000 subscribers each day. So if you want to know what I'm talking about by bigot YouTubers, go check out his channel, and then you'll have a very healthy idea of what I'm talking about. But anyways, my question to you guys is, how do you guys feel about bigot YouTubers? Do you think they should have a platform, or do you think they should not have a platform? Now, at first, I was a little appalled that bigot YouTubers are now able to have a platform on YouTube, as well as other social media sources. But then, the more I got to thinking about it, I'm thinking, you know what? Bigot YouTubers deserve. They ought to have a platform. They ought to. Obviously, I'm not saying that because I like them. And I'm clearly not saying that because I agree with anything that they say or believe in or what they stand on. I'm saying that because for any person that's a decent human being, for any black person, I think it's important that we all know where certain people stand when it comes to race. Now, yes, I am aware that there are black people out here that are bigots as well. I'm aware of that. But yeah. I think when it comes to bigot YouTubers, we all need to know who these people are. And once we know who these people are, we need to do everything in our power as a decent human being to stay away from these people. And if these people ever open up any businesses, if feasible, we need to not buy any of their products. If feasible. Because sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta survive, so you ain't really got no choice in the matter. And another thing about these bigot YouTubers, I mean, I'm glad they have a platform because also, if you're out and about in the real world and you come across a person who talks a similar language to the way some of these bigot YouTubers talk, and again, if you want to know what I mean by any of this, go check out the YouTuber channel Shameless Sperg, and you'll have a healthy idea what I'm talking about after you watch this video. But anyways, I got to thinking they ought to have a platform, and I'm glad they have a platform. And I hope YouTube continues to allow these people to have a platform. Now I know many of you, you're going to be in your feelings about people that are bigots having a platform. And at first I was, but then the more I got to thinking logically about everything, it's like, yeah, they deserve to have, they all have a platform. Because I feel any decent human being deserves to know who these individuals are. And I would say for the safety of the black community, it's good that we know who a lot of these bigots are. I mean, with this whole black fatigue thing going on, you got a lot of white people claiming they got black fatigue, and I've already told you what I mean, what I believe they mean by that, at least the majority of them. So with that being said, I would say for those who genuinely do not like black people, it's good that we know who those people are. That way we can avoid them at all costs, or at least whenever feasible. And that does include moving to communities where people like that typically are going to reside. Now, with that being said, I've told you guys before, I've lived in a few predominantly white communities and I haven't had any issues. But I do also understand that there are a lot of predominantly white communities out there that if somebody like me moves to those areas, it would have been an issue. And although it's hard to tell what communities these bigot YouTubers or people that agree with what these YouTubers have to say are going to most likely reside in, I mean, this is why I tell you when you go look at houses, because I understand there's a lot of people in the black community. Maybe you live in a not so desirable community and you're looking at moving to a community that you feel is going to be better for yourself and or your family. You want quiet, you want peace and quiet, you want more land, more yard, or whatever, bigger house, whatever the case. So depending on what region of the country that you reside in, like if you live in the Midwest and that's what you're looking for, unfortunately, in most of the Midwest, you're not going to find too many communities that are either predominantly black or diverse to where you're going to be able to purchase a home that has a significant amount of land. So, with that being said, that's the reason why I keep trying to tell you people to talk to the neighbors, talk to the locals, like people at the gas station, people at the local Dollar General. If there's a grocery store close by in town, go and talk and try to chop up, go and try to, what I'm trying to say is go and try to, forgot what you call it. Try to carry a conversation with some of the people that might be at that local grocery store if the community that you're looking at moving to has one. That's what I'm trying to say. Sorry, my apologies. I was just at lost for words for a second. And sometimes when you engage in conversation with some of these people, you might be able to catch on to what they're really trying to tell you. I mean, they may not tell you straight up to your face that no, they don't want you in their community because of your race. And I believe if someone did do that, I mean, somebody who might be more familiar with the law, let me know in the comments whether I'm correct, but I'm wrong. But I believe it would actually be against the law for somebody to tell you point blank that they don't want you in their community because of your race. Now, for those of you that are watching me for whatever reason and you generally do not like black people, you don't want black people living amongst you, there are ways that you can let us know to not move to your community. I mean, there are several ways you can let us know to where it would not be against the law, but there are ways that you can let us know, and most of us would be wise enough to understand what you're saying. And I'm gonna stop and tell everybody right now. I mean, for those of you that are black, biracial, or maybe you're white and you're in a interracial relationship, or you're a white parent and you have biracial children, if you go to some of these predominantly white communities to look at a house or a condo because you want to move there, because you want a nice place to raise your family, you want a decent school system for your children, I mean, this is going to be a bitter pill for some of you to swallow, but some of those type of communities don't really want you in their community. And again, I'm not talking about all predominantly white communities, but there are several of them throughout the United States to where they really don't want you in their community. They prefer to keep their community all white. I mean, I know it's a bitter pill to swallow, but it's the truth. So if you go to any of these places and I told you the guys this on previous videos, I'm gonna tell y'all again. If you go to these places and you see certain kind of paraphernalia that indicates the mindset of a lot of the people in the community, such as rebel flags, for an example, if I were you, I wouldn't move there. I would just keep it pushing and go find somewhere different. Because there's enough decent communities out here to where you ain't got to move among people that are most likely not going to like you for one reason or another. Because you do have that sector of the white community out here that, you know, not only do they dislike black people, but if you're white and you're in an interracial relationship, they're not going to like you either. Or if you're white and you got biracial kids, or you got a black kid, they're not going to like you either. I mean, I remember when we was coming up as kids ourselves up in Northeast Ohio. There were situations to where when we went into a predominantly white suburban community as a family, people gave us a side eye. People gave my parents a side eye. Because it's like, how dare you, white folks, to have 4 non-white children? I mean, I'm just keeping it real. I'm not even playing. So there were a lot of times that my parents got the side eye. And so, yeah, I mean, that unfortunately, that still happens today in 2025. And another thing I want to say is, if a person of that particular type of community comes up to you and they tell you in any way, shape, or form that they basically don't want you in that community, or if they indicate through some of their actions towards you that they don't welcome you to that community, you know what? Don't get mad. Don't get upset. Don't get into your emotions. Don't get into your emotions. Don't get into your pride. This is what you do. I mean, I guess if you want to, you can thank them for their honesty and then just keep it pushing. Or 2, you can listen to what they say and stay quiet and keep it pushing. But whatever you do, keep it pushing. Take what these people say for what it is. Don't sit around and try to justify it don't try to justify what they said. Don't try to sugarcoat it. I mean, these people have said exactly what they said. They meant what they said, and it is what it is. So take it for what it is and keep it pushing. Because when people show you that you're not welcome in that community before you put money down and buy that home, they save you a crap load of money, a crap load of headaches. And people like that could potentially down the road save your life or the life of your children, especially if you got young black male children. I mean, back in, let me think here, back in October of 2024, I had a video on this channel, and it still is on this channel. Here's a video of me looking at a house out in the country. And there were a bunch of, there were a bunch of gunshots that you guys most likely heard. There's a few of them. And I think that video was titled, I guess they don't want my black ass there. No, it was titled, I think the title of the video was, I guess they don't want my black ass here. Go check it out. I made that video back in October of 2024. So, and basically on that video, I basically tell you guys that whenever people act like that, be thankful that they're showing you their true colors before you put money into buying that particular piece of property, before you move your family there. Be thankful, be appreciative. Because when those people over there did what they did to me, I mean, honestly, I had no intentions of buying that house anyway, but let's say I did. Those people did me a huge favor by showing me their true colors. So if anybody shows you their true colors in those type of communities, take it for what it is. Be thankful. Be glad. Because now you can take your time, your energy, your financial resources, and you can go somewhere where you'll actually be welcomed. And I hate to talk like this, but in the racial climate that we're in this country, for those of you that are either black or maybe you're white and you got biracial kids, y'all gotta be careful out here. Y'all gotta watch out, especially if you have a son that's either biracial or black. Y'all gotta be careful. You know, I mean, not only do you gotta look out after yourself, but you gotta look out after your children too, and make sure that they're not gonna be in harm's way. I mean, I don't know if I told you this story or not, but I'm gonna tell y'all real quick. I mean, but I remember when we were growing up after church, as a family, we would drive around to suburban communities, and just for the fun of it, we would go just, hey man, that's a nice looking house. Hey man, that's a nice looking house. And then one day, I asked my mom, why don't we move to this particular community? And finally, my mom and my dad busted up the, I don't know what you call it, but they finally told me that the reason why they didn't move to any of those communities was because they knew that if they did, we would most likely have issues in that community. Like if we were to go to the schools, us children at the time, if we were to go to those schools, we would run into some issues, such as maybe being called racial slurs, and then teachers not doing anything about it, such as unfair treatment because of our race. And remind you, this was in the 80s and 90s, because I was raised in the 80s and 90s. And I would like to think that things are better today, and maybe they're a little better today, but that racial tension, unfortunately, is in this country. So my parents explained to me why we never lived in the suburbs and we stayed living in our small city of Elyria, Ohio, which is a half-hour west of Cleveland. So yeah, you gotta be careful out here. So personally, I don't have a problem with bigot YouTubers having a platform. I'm glad they have a platform. I'm gonna be honest, I'm glad they got a platform. Because now the rest of us who are decent human beings and those of us who are black, now we get to see who these people are. Now we have an idea of what these people are thinking, and we can take that information for what it is, and we can act accordingly. We can make intelligent decisions when it comes to dealing with those people. Either A, if feasible, like I said, we can avoid them altogether, which is what I prefer to do, and I would advise all y'all to do. If you gotta do it with any of those people, we deal with those people sparingly. So, how do you guys feel about bigot YouTubers? I would love to hear from you guys in the comment section. Do you think they ought to have a platform? Do you think they ought to be shut down? How do y'all feel? Stay blessed. I will check you guys later. I'm looking to hear from you in the comments.